let's look at an example. At an average rate of 3 miles per hour per second, which would write as 3 miles per hour / second, how long does it take to change velocity by 40 miles an hour? Now, what does 3 miles per hour per second mean? It means every second we gain 3 miles per hour. So how many seconds is it going to take us to gain 40 miles per hour? Okay? And then a second question, if we start at 20 miles an hour, how far do we go? We'll see how that relates to the rate concept also. Okay, so again, 3 miles per hour per second. Every second we gain 3 miles per hour. We could draw a picture like this. We could use an arrow to indicate the 40 miles per hour that we've got to gain. And then we could use shorter arrows to indicate our 3 mile per hour gains for every second. In this case, we see that it's going to take us 40 divided by 3, or 13 1/3 of these segments to make this segment. Since each of these is length 3 and this is 40, we're going to have 40 divided by 3 of them. So we conclude that it takes 13 1/3 seconds to make this change. Now, more formal calculation using units, using the seconds and the miles per hour, which is always something that we want to try to do. Okay? We see that we're going to divide 40 by 3. Well, we're dividing 40 miles per hour by 3 miles per hour per second. How do we do this calculation? Well, we're going to do 40 over 3, but what happens at miles per hour per second? That's a fraction in the denominator of a fraction. Safest thing to do is invert the denominator and multiply by the 40 miles an hour, which is what we do. 40 miles an hour times the inverted denominator. Invert the 3, we get 1/3. Invert miles per hour per second, we get seconds over miles per hour. Then the miles per hour here will be divided by the miles per hour here, so it'll cancel out, and we'll end up with seconds. And 40 will be divided or multiplied by 1/3 if you prefer, and give us 13 1/3 seconds. Now, if we start at 20 miles an hour and end up at 60, then we might expect that our average would be 40 miles per hour. And that would be the case if the rate of change is constant. At 40 miles an hour, then our question is, how far do we go in 13 1/3 seconds? If we assume the rate of change is constant, that'll be our average speed. Well, 40 miles per hour equals how many feet per second? Well, 40 miles per hour is 40. A mile is 5,280 feet. An hour is 3,600 seconds. So it's 40 times 5,280 feet over 3,600 seconds. 68 2/3 feet per second. 68 2/3 feet per second for 13 1/3 seconds. We're going to go 68 2/3 feet times 13 1/3 seconds, and that's a number of feet that you can calculate.